All right, how you doing?
Welcome B3.
Welcome B3, Jeff Beggins, Craig Beggins, Beggins Brothers, whatever you want to call us. We are here to give you some cool stuff to think about going into a cool long weekend for some.
And an end of a year.
End of a year.
We're halfway through the last month of this year. People should be planning their agendas for next year.
And we're going to do a couple things that you may not like today. We're going to hit some nerves about the reality because we love you.
And I think it's important too that the stuff we're going to tell you about is going to take some time to get organized with. So if you want to launch something new by next year, you got to start now.
Get it all organized. So we quoted this one, we titled this one Micro Marketing, and warnings for old bees and excitement for newbies.
That's a new word, old bees.
Old bees, and you know who you are, we're one of them,
Yeah.
right? But we're old bees learning newbie tricks, which is what you are too. So everyone's trying to evolve and figure out what we do in this world. So let's talk about it. Why do we call it an old bee warning?
Because technology runs at breakneck speeds, and a newbie can excel and surpass an old bee in about 30 days' time.
Great example of that. I was just coaching with Tara, a new agent here in South Tampa office earlier this morning, and perfect example for what we're talking about today. She moved here from not here, which means she has no sphere, and she doesn't have the luxury of knowing a bunch of people who already trust her, knows that she's good at what she do, and that she cares about them. So most of you, if you've been in your market for a while, you've got a luxury, and if you're not exploiting it, we'll talk about in a little bit, but she's here with a lot of great experience from a different marketplace, but she doesn't know anybody, so she's basically a newbie because she doesn't have any trust. And this business is all about mind share and trust. So what we outlined today is in the next 60 days, she will own the mind share of an entirely new market that is completely unknown to her, and she's unknown to everybody inside that market. And I'm talking within 60 days, she will have business in this market and will be knocking the old bees out on their butt, unless you're the old bee and you start doing what she's doing, what we're going to talk about today, so then you can defend your turf and kick the newbies out.
And I think it's important too. There's no magic answer. There's a combination of brass tacks, old school habits, and taking advantage of new school technology.
Right.
This is not sit on your couch and things are going to fall in your lap. You're going to be out there hustling.
Right. It's just a new way of working smarter is the thing.
But a newbie who hustles, like we're going to talk about, will get traction.
Will match an old bee.
Yeah.
But an old bee that hustles will kick the crap out of a newbie.
That's exactly right.
Right. So that's why for the old bees watching, pay attention to some of this one. Here's a statement that you might not like. Right? Every one of your past clients were somebody else's.
Right? If that wasn't the case, there would be no business for a new agent, because every house that we sell was sold by another agent.
That's right. So that should prove to you the loyalty of the clients you have now because they cheated on their last agent with you, right? So the ability for them to dump you like a bad habit for somebody new has already been
moved from out of the area.
Well, but the majority of them didn't follow up, right? Yeah. So that's the whole thing. So what do we mean by micro marketing? I'm going to use the coaching this morning as kind of a template for what we're talking about today. So this girl we're working with here is focusing on a specific neighborhood here in South Tampa, right? Just because she had sold a house here before, and it was kind of funny. She's like, I looked here, I've sold one. It's on a busy street. A lot of people saw my face, they saw my name. And so it was kind of funny to say that, but it was a few months ago that happened. So of course, nobody's going to remember any of that. Right. So I said, don't worry about that. We can rebuild your name and your brand like overnight. Because how are we going to actually do this? So let's talk about that. So the correlation here, and this is going to be fun to kind of talk to. And the sales meeting we did yesterday here in this office was fun because we kind of had a little bit of fun with the correlation between dating and real estate.
Yeah.
Right?
I got you.
And the dating and real estate is completely similar in a lot of different ways. And we'll go way deeper in that to another podcast, but I just want to talk about a couple things right now. So old school versus new school. And this really drives home a lot of points to a lot of people though. When you think about old school relationships, for the old bees watching, right? When you found your quote unquote mate or partner, you did it probably in a certain way and it satisfied your drunk monkey, your comfort, your convenience, your safety net, your safety zone, your world and your tribe. And you found somebody who was probably from the same area you were from, might have even been in the same school, went to the same church, listened to the same music, liked the same sports, likes the same everything like that. You kind of found a safe zone because why not? It's the path of least resistance and it works well. So in that same breath, how did people used to find their real estate agent? Hey, I'm thinking about selling my house. Do you know a good one? Right? Or hey, I'm single. Do you know a good one? Right? A lot of referrals and Sphere and all that world started. That's how it world worked. And real estate was mostly done by word of mouth and referral based. So
Now there's an app for that.
there is an app for that completely. But so why was real estate done that way? Because it's always been, can I trust you? Are you good at what you do? And do you care about me? Right? Those are the three main questions. And if you give me a referral, I'm going to check most of those boxes. I'm going to trust them by default because you wouldn't have given me their name if you didn't trust them.
Correct.
And you wouldn't have given them to me if you didn't think they were good. And you probably think they're going to care about me. So those boxes were already checked because you gave me that referral. And so that was the old way of doing business. And a lot of old bees.
Well, that still happens, just not to the extent that it used to.
It still does happen and it still works. But the threat now is very real because how are people, the majority of people dating now, right?
Probably Match.com.
They're going online because you can totally re-evaluate, re-engineer, and reinvent trust, right? Because you trust comfort, and comfort used to be a referral, but comfort really is connection and tribal similarities, right? So now you can open up your phone for a variety of different places and you can see somebody. Now, we all know how our brain sorts and we know how we connect with people very quickly, about 7 seconds. So you're going to sort through a bunch of people and you're going to see them. They're either going to have a positive influence in your mind or a negative influence in your mind. You're going to swipe on over and find somebody next, right? And then you go a little bit deeper and you read and you talk.
Sounds like you might have done this.
No, not me. No, actually, yeah. I mean, that's how I found my wife. That's not how you found your old ex-wife, not your old wife, your ex-wife, right? But that's just the sign of the time today. And this was a long time ago that I did it. Today, it's all online because, and I'm going to go with real estate in just a second. But online, you can see them, videos, you have photos, you can read about them, you can see them.
With
right?
reviews.
Right? You should have reviews from their exes online would be interesting, right? But but they're not doing that part yet. So but now real estate. So real estate used to be, hey, do you have a good real estate agent? Now this is my referral source. And I'm sitting there on my phone as everybody is, and they're scrolling through Facebook or Instagram, and you're laying in bed at night and you're going through and you see, wait a second, that's my neighborhood. Wait, who's that? Hit the button and they're talking about values and home prices and home sales and different stuff. And all of a sudden I start to see this person and maybe I like them and maybe I trust them. They're obviously good at what they do. They're telling me about sales. So the first time I see them, not so much, but maybe the second time and the third time and the fourth time, they become part of my world. And then if I actually get interested in them as an agent, I can click on them. What can I find out about that agent now? Reviews,
Yep.
testimonials,
Past
referrals,
sales.
good, bads, uglies. Right? I can read their bio. I can see if I connect with them. I can probably watch a video of them somewhere talking about themselves. So they're totally self-selecting, which takes away the need for me to go, hey, do you know a good agent? Because my brain is going through the path of least resistance and I'm able to find a good agent because I can connect. Right?
Well, even our relocation department, the USAA network,
Yeah.
they're doing it that way now. It's called Agent Selection Tool. The consumer USAA member can just log on to the Zap website,
Right?
pick the agent, read their bios, pick which one they want.
There you go.
It used to be we get our referrals in, our reload director would say, well, I think I got to give it to this one now.
Yeah, I know the director in Denver. I'll just
Yeah. Now
trust her.
the member is selecting the agent based on their bio. We have no control over the selection. So that's another good example too.
It's a perfect example. That's just a sign of the time. So let's talk about what are you going to do now? If you're an old bee, good job.
Old is
getting
really
to where
not a
you
very
are.
nice term.
It's a realistic, really nice term. Because I don't mean you're old, but you're an old bee compared to a newbie. A newbie in the business doesn't know what the hell they're doing, so they're going to try what they think might work.
How about an experienced bee?
Old bee, experienced bee. You're now experienced bees, right? Old bees, right? So an old bee, and we're old bees, right? But we're old bees learning newbie tricks. So an old bee did a great job getting to the point of referral business. And now if you're an old bee, you already have the trust of your past client and your sphere. Now you just add some of the stuff we're going to talk about
So
in.
you remain top of mind
You remain top of
and
mind.
giving good value.
Because if you don't remain top of mind to your current past clients,
Some
they're about
newbie's
to be
gonna,
somebody's future client, right?
Yep. Somebody will adopt them.
So it's absolutely going to do it. So now let's talk about skills. So one of the things I was talking about with Tara, the agent this morning, we're saying, okay, this is now your neighborhood. And so we said, how did you get that listing that sold before? And the answer was just listed calls, right? So she called and said, talk about just listing. Hey, our company just sold one right here. We're looking for properties. Who do you know that wants to move? When do you plan on moving? How long do you live? And she found the lead. She got a listing.
Well, let's call that what it is. It's really a cold call.
Cold call.
And most agents are not willing to make cold calls. So
Right.
what you're talking about is a way to make warm calls, kind of.
Well, her specific business plan is to continue doing what she's doing, right? But specifically, we're calling it micro marketing because you cannot be good at a town. It's impossible. You can't be good at a county. It's impossible. You can't be good at a zip code. You can't. It's impossible to be good, but you can be good at a neighborhood. So this is the multi-pronged approach we're doing with her, right? So she is going to pick we're calling it ground zero. And ground zero is a dot on a map. And this map is going to have 200 or 300 homes around this dot that are going to be the main core world. That's her world. She's going to get to know everybody in that market. They're going to love her. They're going to trust her. They're going to know she knows what she's talking about. That's going to become her sphere. She doesn't have one right now. In addition to that, we're going to use that place mark for ground zero, and we're going to do a couple mile radius around there. And we're going to do some geo-targeting, micro-marketing just to that market with relevant information only just to them.
That's the same that we posted videos about how to do.
That's right.
On this
That's
channel, right?
And all the training classes we're doing.
So subscribe to the channel if you want to see those old videos.
Yeah, or reach out and we'll help you. We'll point you where you need to be. So now the multi-pronged approach is she's going to go door to door every month and say, here's Tara's market update, right? Here's the new listings, new sales, new expireds. That doesn't change, guys. The old school hand-to-hand combat isn't going away. We're just augmenting it and fortifying it and supplementing it so you cannot be beat. So now imagine this. Imagine you as an agent, you've got your core micro market and you own it. You're seeing everybody every single month and you're face-to-face handing them something. Plus, every time you do it, you're scrolling, spending $5 a day, right, to make sure you're top of mind on them, which is way cheaper than doing a just listed postcard, right? So we're actually saving money by doing it the right way. And then she's going into the local shops and saying, hey, I'm here with Craig, Craig's Florist. If you guys haven't tried Craig's, the place is awesome. It's amazing. And it's awesome. If you mention me, I'm going to give a little discount out there. So now Craig's Florist is going to love me because he lives in my tribe. He's part of my tribe. So I'm going to help him get business. And then I'm going to hashtag them. And I'm going to get into his follower world. So I'm going to become part of that tribe and this tribe and this tribe, but only in this micro market. If anything comes up from another neighborhood, she's like, done. Blinders on. I don't touch it. I'm allergic to that other market. I'm only into this market, and that's going
My car turns off when I cross the border.
It does. You leave that street, it's over. So that's what's going to work well for her. Now, here's the danger. If you're the old B, experienced B, and you happen to be in that neighborhood that she's about to work, she's going to steal your clients, right? 100% going to steal your clients because she's going to be top of mind there. Now, here's the exciting part for somebody breaking this new model in, right? Or these new tactics in. There is a great example, Alexis, who just got a $1.something million listing right here in town. And it's a coming soon model because he's not done decluttering the house, right? So rather than wait for it to hit the market, we did a nice little video. She did, and say we were told her to do it. She did it, did a great job. And she did a little video saying this house is about to come on the market, very prestigious neighborhood, very limited, scarce market. So she did a little video saying this is coming soon. If you guys know anybody who's interested, reach out to me. And she did this video, and she has thousands of views in the last 3 days.
When I walked in, she told me all about it. 10,000 views in the last 3 days.
And it was a 4-mile radius of, that's it. That was her micro market in a multi-million-dollar marketplace. So does it work? Yeah, it works.
It gets eyeballs.
And that's what this game is, because and it's about incubation, which is where we're going to go next on this thing. Inside of this micro market is a lot of people incubating, right? But it's 18 to 24 months before you start thinking about buying something or selling something to actually pull the trigger and do it. So we were going to her current leads right now with Tara this morning in her coaching, and she has a couple people that aren't ready to go yet. They're just not ready to go yet. It's not an ability of can I close them or not. It's is their life to the point that they're ready to pull the trigger, and it's not. But inside of that micro market are a lot of people that are incubating that for the last 8 months have been thinking about making a switch or making a change. Now, here's another thing.
And while they're incubating, they're getting bombarded by other opportunities.
That's right. Now, think about a current listing.
That's why you can get into the micro market and own that market. You can incubate properly.
That's right. It self-incubates
Because
for
the
you.
people that jump around from place to place are just losing traction all over the place.
Now, think about this. Now, in this micro market, is a listing with another brokerage that's probably 140 something days on the market. And that agent isn't doing shit, and that seller is not happy, and it's going to expire. So that seller is sitting there at night scrolling through their Facebook or Instagram too,
This agent's
and they're saying, wait a second,
Hey, I've seen that happen within our own company.
right?
I've had sellers call me saying, hey, I really like the marketing this agent's doing. Can I switch?
Yep,
That's a tough conversation for a broker to have with the other agent.
that's right.
But what are you going to do?
And
The
it's
customer always right. Always right.
great point. So so in this particular case, that listing that's going to expire in a couple of weeks is going to start seeing this agent being active and aggressive and
Interviewing the
sharp.
florist and the butcher and the candlestick maker.
Relevant, right? And it's all about relevance. It's all about trust. It's all about tribe. So now she's going to start getting phone calls from people before they expire and say, I like your marketing. Let's chat, right? So you got to think about it. It's not just now. And this is, if you're going to micro market, old school farm or whatever you want to call it, you have to commit to it. And you've got to say, I'm not going to do anything but that. And we've been drilling this point home because it's so tough, guys, because when you flip into scarcity mode, right, you take whatever you can get because you're afraid at some level that there's not more. So you'll go do the open house, and you'll go do the physical, and you'll go do the expired, and you'll go do this, and you'll go do that, and you will get deals, but you're never building a business that you can actually relax in. So this is the way to actually relax, because every piece of business that you'll generate from that micro market is going to be in the $800,000 price point.
Yeah, well, let's not mislead them, because you really never get to relax. The conversation you and I had this morning.
It gets simplified.
Well, the one agent got so much business going in her little micro market that she had to bring on another agent to handle her buyer leads.
Yeah, but that's pretty good stress. I think everybody can. But she got so busy, she brought in an assistant to help her take, I'll tell the number because we won't say who it is. There's 1,000 leads, right, that were ready to be incubated. We'll just leave it at that, right? So now in a really great price point. So if this agent we're talking about, her car does stop working when she leaves a certain neighborhood, right? And it doesn't leave there. So if you micro market and really, really focus in, you can get selective. This agent that I'm talking about, the new one, the one that we're coaching that's doing the micro marketing, just starting right now, she needs 2 deals a month. That's it. Mm-hmm. 2. So what's really going to happen is that micro market that she's going to own is going to become her sphere. So it might not be business from exactly that micro market, but it's their son just graduated from UT in Texas and is moving here from Austin.
This is nothing new. This is how we grew our company. Except we had to do it with a chisel and a hammer.
Right. This is fast.
Now we do it with a smartphone.
Easy. I mean, how many doors? You guys who are door knocking or passing out flyers or farming, you're lucky to find a third of the people at home, right? And that's
if you're making phone calls, you're lucky to find 20% of the people answer the call.
Right. So this is passively in their face in a nonstop way with relevant information. Now, skill has to come in here. This isn't just let me go do something. You got to come up with some content that's engaging or at least relevant. And then once you have the content, you've got to keep it up and you got to stay relevant and keep doing it. So this is a business.
Well, just like we're doing. There's every week we get together and do a podcast and talk about things that are going on. Because if we don't, we're going to be out of sight, out of mind as well.
That's right. And as an industry, guys, one of the reasons we're doing this and broadcasting it the way that we are, we have been doing this just to our company for a while. Right, every day for the last 20 years, right? So now it's opened up not to just our market, but to our whole brand, our whole tribe, and people that we think that will use this, because there's sometimes there's a lack of leadership in some brokerages.
Well, the fact of the matter is we generate a lot of leads, and we want to give our leads to people that we like.
That's right, and we got a lot more coming, and so we'll be looking to our tribe leader down the road. So that's really the conversation. Now let's talk about skill. So if we're going to blast out a market, it has to be done at scale. Because I don't care what business you're in, it's a numbers game.
Yes.
Right? It's absolutely a numbers game.
And your efficiency goes up when your skill goes up.
So you can have no skill and still do deals. You're just not going to get any repeat business, right? But you could still do another deal, another deal, another deal, another deal. But if you're going to micro market, you're going to do something with relevance. You know who is going to be seeing your message, but you don't know about that person, right? So if you just go and be you and promote your video, that will work if you have enough scale, right? Because you're going to attract or repel people just by nature. People are going to like you or they're not. There's no real middle ground. They either like you or they don't. So everybody who sees you is going to prejudge you the moment they scroll through and they see your face, because psychologically, subconsciously, you're going to remind them of somebody somewhere in some lifetime or this current one that they like or don't like, and they've already formed their decision about whether they like you or not, and you're done, right?
That's encouraging.
But it's true. So if you're only promoting yourself to 4 people, your odds are pretty not good, right? So that's why you've got to get out there with scale to enough people that you're not attached to the outcome. If you need 2, you can piss off everybody but 2, right? Or not piss off, but repel, as long as you're attracting at least 2 a month to get you the business goal that you really want.
I think that's something that has to be said too. The typical agent, and no discount meant, wants everything to be perfect. And we have a lot of that going on with our organizations. Well, I want to get my hair done. I want to make sure I got my logos all straight.
Right.
That's not what it's about. The message delivered is better than the perfect message delivered.
There is no perfect message.
Or the perfect message not delivered.
That's right.
We screw up all the time, but
Yeah.
at least we do it.
Well, hair, I didn't even look at my hair. But let's talk about what you actually say to the micro market, because you could say, hey, I'm Jeff, this is what's going on, new listing, really market, tight market, we need some more inventory, and because you know people I don't know, pick your own neighbor, blah, 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 send, right? Cost you nothing, promote it, do a little Facebook, Instagram post, and you've done $5 a day spend. That is enough, right? Forget about what you said now, but let's now start thinking about things a little bit differently and say, okay, let's put some skill here. Who's watching this message?
Are they a D, an I, a C, or an S?
I don't know. So maybe why don't we
Act like
craft
that.
the message that might touch on all 4 of those? Because if we're going to connect, let's make it short and sweet to the point so the D's will listen. Let's also make it a little entertaining so the I's aren't going to swipe through it. And let's make it a little caring for the S personalities to actually bond. And let's throw some numbers and stats in there so the analyticals don't think that there's no meat in there for them.
There you go.
Right? But that takes skill and thought and just kind of walking through the steps strategically.
Right.
And then you go a little bit deeper and you say, am I talking to a visual tribe?
Auditory or kinesthetic.
And what's the difference in that?
The way they receive the words, that they feel comfortable.
So let's talk just real briefly about that for a second. So if I'm in front of a house, how can I talk about that in a visual fashion?
Use visual words like, look at the colorful landscaping. Can you see the backyard from the front door? You're going to use those visual words to get through.
Yeah, take a look at this. Let me show you this. Once you see this, you won't believe it. But that's going to work only with high visual people because you're speaking their language. So you can just do what you do and you're fine at scale. But now let's put some skill into this so you don't have to have as big a scale to do as many deals. So now you're at the same house. Where's your auditory inflection? Like, what can you say that makes sense and resonates with the auditory person?
Listen to this. Let me put this out.
And let me tell you some things. When we get a chance to talk about this one, right?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you
I
what I've
can't
heard
wait
from
to
the
tell
neighbors.
you what the neighborhood is like.
Yeah, can you listen to this? Listen to the peacefulness on this one. When I tell you about this neighborhood,
This dishwasher is one of those silent ones.
right? So this is it resonates with the auditory people, and then kinesthetic is your other major representational system, which is
The way you feel. This house just feels so comfortable.
and then you're just going to get a piece of comfort and serenity when you just feel how great this neighborhood is. Just these solid doors and this construction, it's like a fortress. But you'll feel it for yourself when you get a chance to come on over.
So we teach our agents, when you're writing your bio, use the visual, auditory, kinesthetic words, include the D, the I, the S, and the C personalities.
Yep.
Same thing with your property descriptions.
Huge.
And
huge
same thing with your videos now.
because you don't know who's watching.
Yeah.
So
But I
now
bet most people don't even know what we're talking about.
that's okay because we're not here for most people. We're here for you, right? So, and if you want to know more, we go deep on all of these different topics. So that's the point, guys, is there's never, ever, ever been a time when the playing field has been as level as it is right now. Brand new girl to the market right now and you know, you may not want to admit this is true.
They can give an old bee a run for their money.
They can kick the old bee's ass, for lack of a politically correct version of it, kick their ass, right? If the old bee is not adapting to this world.
Remember an old statement we used to say that an experienced agent has money, but no time. And a new agent has time, but no money. Right? So which
Yeah.
currency you're going to play? Now, it doesn't take money.
Does not. It takes skill and thought.
Skill and thought.
Because beforehand, to be the luxury agent, you had to spend your stupid $10,000 ad on your luxury home magazines. No offense if you're watching, and then 45 days in advance to put in the pictures so you get into the July edition.
And the house is sold by the time the newspaper
Right,
comes
just
out.
to feed your ego that you had enough money to spend money in a magazine. That
Or
doesn't
because you
really sell
promised the
stuff.
seller, you advertise that didn't have the courage to tell them it doesn't work.
But in the meantime, in the next 30 minutes, I can have my video done standing in front of $1 million
Live on
house,
YouTube.
targeted to that demographic that has that price point only, and they're going to see my stuff for $5 a day. So you can take your $10,000 ad and just cram it in the prehistoric dinosaur pile if you want to, because I can go out there and crush it, and you can crush it with any market you want. So we talked about today, everything we're talking about, she can go into Crackheadville and really own that market if she wants to, and do a ton of transactions that's $85,000. Or she can go into non-Crackheadville and do it all in properties that are 800, 900,000. But there's pros and cons to all of those, because slower return, bigger checks, how quickly do you need a check to eat, right? So all these things come into place. And then as you're digging into your micro market, do some research. If
Really research, know what's going on.
If Susie Smith from Remax has 8 signs up in that micro market, go find another micro market. Not that you can't beat her, but why? Just go over a few streets and make that your micro market, and you can crush her. Right? Crush nobody, because if you have onesie twosies in a neighborhood, there's no competition. It's yours to own. And just put that embracement up, put that wall up there and just take it. Right? So that's what we're seeing people is embracing. So cheap, guys. It's so easy. The micro marketing with skill is absolutely untouchable, because all you're trying to convey are these 3 things. Can I trust you? Are you good at what you do? And do you care about me?
Sure.
So that's something for you guys to think about rolling into, we're coming into Thanksgiving week around here right now. So I don't know my timestamp.
So my question is, how many of you are going to engage and be ready to launch your micro market by January, first week of January?
Yeah, or next week. That she's doing it today, right? Starting from this morning.
That's right. We don't have to wait for the printer to get the proofs out and all that stuff.
What you need to do is sell yourself that you know this is right and do it. But don't half-ass it, guys. If you even are not totally committing to this, don't even try it. Go do something else until you're ready to commit to something. So this is not the end-all magic bullet secret weapon, but this is when you commit to it, that you can build your entire marketplace on just this micro market and just this niche.
By the way, once you commit to anything, it always works.
That's right, because everything
We're just going to give you different things to think about, to commit to.
Very good. And just be good, take care of people, and you never have to worry about anything again, right?
That's it.
Cool. Any parting words?
If we might not be podcasting next week.
We will. We'll figure it out somewhere.
We might do it for your backyard.
There we go. We'll go live dropping turkeys in the oven.
Yeah.
And the deep fryers. So.
Turkey shoot.
Right. Everyone have a safe Halloween. Happy Thanksgiving. And everything's awesome. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope we brought you some value. Hit us up with some comments, questions, anything we can do to help you, no matter where you work or what you do or who you're with. We're happy to help. And thanks for watching.
See you soon.